Brady. This is going to be exciting.
Here we got career starts up. We go. Green flag is out. Underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
After a month-long off-season, it's time for the start of another season in the Goat Locker Racing Invets Grand National Series. We've got a full field of 40 cars ready to take on the World Center of Racing at Daytona. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Corinne Smith and producer Eddie Smith. Corinne, tell us a little bit about what these drivers will be facing tonight at Daytona.
Thank you very much, Sky. It is great to be here in Daytona. We're wrapping up the last night of the first week of the new season. We're here at Daytona International Speedway. We've been racing here since 1959. The high banks for 2.5 miles, 31 degrees in the turn. Tri-oval up front. It's going to be a great time. We've had great action all week long, and I think that tonight is just going to be the capstone on a great week of racing.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but this is the last Goat Locker Racing Oval Series to get going, so a lot of these drivers have already ran a race or 2, or 3 even, at Daytona this week, and this is going to be a pretty interesting race to see who can grab that last win at this track. We're going to take a quick look at your schedule here for the season. Obviously, we are leading it off tonight at Daytona. Over the first half of the season, we will head into Las Vegas, Auto Club, New Hampshire, Pocono, Sonoma, and Rockingham. So some very varied tracks there. Your final 3 races before the playoffs will be Phoenix, Dover, and Michigan. We'll go into the playoffs with the round of 12 at Charlotte and Iowa, the round of 8 at Bristol and Chicagoland, and the championship 4 at Homestead Miami Speedway, which is always a great race here in Goat Locker. Anything you're looking forward to on there, Corinne?
Well, you know, you started to mention it, and it's an incredibly varied schedule. I want to talk to whoever, wrote this and shake their hand. Look at the regular season. 1 cookie cutter mile and a half. That means you're not going to come in here and just march your way into the playoffs. You have to be a skilled driver at all different kinds of racetracks. We see them. We see flat and short tracks. We see super speedways with big 2-milers, road courses. You have to be a complete package if you're going to make a championship 4 push this year at Homestead.
Yeah, and even that 1.5 mile track at Las Vegas is, I would say, maybe the best one that we could have put on the schedule, because it always puts on a show in Goat Locker. We've seen some great races in the ARCA series, in the Truck series at Las Vegas, and it always puts on a show. Qualifying is wrapping up here with about 40 seconds left before we get into the start of our race tonight at Daytona. And just looking down the grid here, full field of 40 cars, and qualifying is very tight. We'll tell you who won the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award here before too long, but I can tell you that the first 20 or so cars were only separated by about a tenth in qualifying, so some very competitive times. Drivers who know how to get the most out of their car in a single lap format here at Daytona. But obviously, once that green flag drops, it's going to be all about the draft, all about who you work with, who you know, and if you're able to find your way up to the front of the field in order to grab the victory tonight. We'll take a quick look at your starting grid. Winning the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award is the 71 car of Daniel Parks. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They're local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they do good in the community. Daniel Parks wins that Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award, and he will start on the inside of Jamie Libke tonight in the 16. Kevin Price in the 80 goes from P3, Lucas Lyons in the 17 in P4. Fifth place tonight will be the 77 car of Mark Whitley on the inside of the 56 of Benjamin Richards. Joseph McWhorter starts in P7 in the 72, next to Ken Huber in the 40 in 8th. And the last two cars in your top 10 tonight will be Wyatt Dooling in the 51 and Stephon Davis in the 09.
Row 6 is going to have Wesley Burke inside of the number 92 of Stefan Purcell. Row 7 is going to have Noah Hogard inside of the 7 car of Charles Abert. Starting 15th, Christian Angel and Bobby Whitley to his outside. Row 9 is going to consist of George Jewell and Samuels of Bosun Camaros. And row 10 is going to be Frederick Seagraves Jr. and Michael Jones in the 02.
Started back from there in P21 tonight in the 57 car, it's Chuck Sweeting on the inside of the 13 of Garrett Kinder. In P23, it's Claire Sisk in the 12 car on the inside of the 99 of Brandon Wallace. Levi McCarty rounds out your top 25 tonight in the 18s. He'll start next to Dave Calvert in the 90. Mickey Isaac in the 01 goes from 27th tonight with Devontae Drain in the 33 and 28. Last two cars in your top 20 will be the 45 of Cody Turner and the 25 of Zach Horner.
Back to row 16, it'll be Judson Curtis and Daryl Whitford. Starting 33rd is going to be Darren Price with the 31 of Dakota Cole to his outside. Row 18 is going to be Armando Melgosa in the 78 with Barrett Morton's Chevy Camaro in 36. Colton Sisk is going to start the number 2 car in 37th place with Brock Price to their outside. And then you got me, but I'm actually here up here with you. And then Gary Wright also starting 39th, did not set a time.
We've got a great field of cars tonight. So many drivers in this field who stand a chance of being able to bring home that victory. You can see your race analysis right there. 60 laps is the race length here in the Grand National Series at Daytona. Pit road speed 60 miles an hour. 4 tire sets available, but I doubt you'll be needing more than one of those tonight. 2 green-white checkers, we might need those tonight, and 100% fuel with an iRacing fix setup.
Yeah, I talked to some of the drivers before this, and, after a long week at Daytona, it seems for them that they're just trying to survive and make it through the night and not bleed off too many points as they go off to the next race in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you always want to have a good start to the season, good start to your points chase here. Every little bit of points means something going down into those 12 driver playoffs at the end of the season, and the fight for those is going to start right here tonight. Daniel Parks in the 71 is going to go from the front row here. On the outside in the 16 will be the Jamie Libke, and we'll see which car is able to prevail. Once again, your top 10, Kevin Price, Lucas Lyons, Mark Whitley, Benjamin Richards, Joseph McWhorter, Ken Huber, Wyatt Dooling, and Stephon Davis. As the pace car pulls out of turn 4, he'll head down into pit road momentarily, and we will get ready to go for another season in the Goat Locker Racing Invets Grand National Series. Daniel Parks Jamie Libke. The green flag flies, and we're underway at Daytona. Coming down to the end of lap 1, Daniel Parks in the 71 is going to take a little bit of an awkward bounce. He was side by side with Libke, but that kind of weird bounce down there on the inside line is going to get Libke out in front. She'll lead the first lap, and now Lucas Lyons, who was P2, is going to pull down to that outside lane, take the spot in front of Daniel Parks, and he will try to push that lane back out to the lead. As we are already getting a little squirrely back there in about 5th through 10th, we have seen quite a few big pushes tonight and quite a few cars moving all over the racetrack as Richards gives a huge shot to the back of Jamie Libke. Your 16 car is back in the lead.
It was a great move by Lucas Lyons to shove Jamie to out in front and then take the bottom. Daniel Parks not so eager to push, neither is Lucas Lyons. So we'll have to see as Jamie's down on the bottom, tries the same medicine, going to come around and lead lap 2.
A lot of cars like to jump down to that inside lane, but you can also make the high sides work here. In fact, it might even be a little easier to pass on the top side in these cars. It all depends on what you want to do and what line you think will ultimately have the most momentum, as Libke is taking huge pushes from the 17 of Lucas Lyons back there. Some more huge pushes up on the outside. You saw Ken Huber and Benjamin Richards get a little bit loose up there in the 56 and the 40 car. There goes Jamie Libke. We're wrecking big time behind her. It's the big one on lap 3 at Daytona.
Lyons with a big shove going into 3, got Jamie loose, and that caused a panic behind her. And you see it there. About a dozen cars involved. So far, only one meatball, but a lot of damage dealt out here on lap 3.
That was at least a dozen cars there. Much of the field involved in that one as everybody was still stuck really tight to that lead group, and it happened right in front of them, right up in the lead. You'll see it right here, the 16 of Jamie Libke being pushed by the 17 of Lucas Lyons. It's just a big shot into the corner, unsettles that car. There's a checkup. Daniel Parks gets hit from behind by Kevin Price, and it just collects everybody back of those 2 cars.
Well, I think this is going to shake things up in the back of the field. You got 38 cars on track right now, and I think that everybody's going to come that is kind of just hanging out in the back and try to get a few extra laps of gas to shorten that fuel stop later.
We'll see what the play ends up being. I would imagine a lot of those cars who took some of that major damage are going to come down and put that faster pair on the car too, because otherwise they could be in trouble. Like you said, the only driver to take a meatball out of that was the 92 of Stefan Purcell. He got the worst of it, and I believe he has a blown engine, so that'll definitely be a faster pair for that 92 car. I would imagine we're going to see some other cars who had maybe non-meatball level but still very heavy damage will come down and take one as well.
Yeah, well, one thing we didn't talk about at the top of the show, a lot of people are new to Goat Locker Racing. This place is just growing at an incredible rate, but what that does is it gives you a lot of opponents that you've never raced against before, and to come out here and be at Daytona for your first race with somebody, it's certainly going to be a learning curve for these drivers.
I mean, we got so many cars going now in Goat Locker Racing. We've been running 2 series on Sundays. We've got 2 different splits in ARCA. You've got a lot of different drivers out here, and I mean, it shows with the full 40-car field that we have tonight. Pit stops are going to begin for many of the cars who were caught up in that, and also many of the cars who weren't really caught up in that. We're only going to have 5 cars stay out. It's Richards through Kevin Price. Excuse me, actually, a couple more cars towards the back are staying out. So it's Richards through Darren Price on your ticker over there. None of those cars are coming down. Everybody else is going to come down, put some fuel in the car, many of them taking that early fast repair as well.
8 cars decided to stay out. The big winners are going to be Darren Price, Colton Sisk, and Armando Melgoza. They're up 25 to 29 spots each on lap 4. So you want to talk about major gains here on lap 5. That's going to change the strategy for them and everyone else.
Those cars now who did that are all off pit strategy in comparison to some of the drivers who did come down. Jamie Libke made it out of the pits there in P6. She was the first car to make a pit stop. Came down, looked like it was a fuel-only pit stop for Jamie Libke. 7 seconds of fuel went in that car. Won't be enough to make it to the end, but it will be enough to get you closer to the end. We'll just have to see how that all plays out on fuel, as we've got maybe a couple more cars down pit road here. A lot of drivers taking advantage of this early yellow to fill the tanks and make sure that they're set for the next 55 laps.
Well, you don't expect this race to go 55 more laps of green. However, in the off chance that it does, you're definitely going to shorten your fuel stop. If you take 5 or 6 seconds of fuel, we're talking about 10 seconds on track. That will add up, and if you have to take more fuel and fall off the back of the pack, you're going to lose a lap.
And while we are under caution, we want to thank one of our partners here at Goat Locker Racing. That is Nasty's. March 21st, 2012, Nasty's opened its doors in Hilliard, Ohio. From the get-go, they aimed to embody the energy and passion that their sons, Nathan and John, poured into their dreams. Nathan's commitment to hospitality ensured that every guest received exceptional food and service. Nasty's has hosted numerous fundraisers in their establishment with the goal of raising funds to donate a sim rig to a deserving veteran or first responder. So we thank Nasty's Restaurant and Bar for their continued support of Goat Locker Racing here in the Invets Grand National Series. As the cars are back 2x2 behind the pace car, we'll go this time. Who are you looking out for on this restart, Corinne?
Well, we didn't really get a good, good capture of what everybody's doing, but Benjamin Richards was able to push some people out to the lead. So was Lucas Lyons. So then we know they're good pushers, but are they good receivers here? We're going to find out when we drop the green flag.
Yeah, and the drivers who took that fast repair early on are going to be Noah Hogard. He came down, put that fast repair on his car. Claire Sisk as well. There's a couple others. Get that full list up for you right now, if my ATVL will work. I'll read it off manually here. We've got Dakota Cole, Bobby Whitley down as well, Stephon Davis, Chuck Sweeting, and it looks like Devontae Drain all came down and put that fast repair on the car, as well as Charles Abert and Stefan Purcell. So about 8 cars there using that fast repair on this first caution. And now if they get in another wreck over the next 54 laps of this race, they could be in some pretty big trouble. So those drivers might be a little more cautious. As the pace car pulls in and we enter the extreme scoring restart zone, Richards will lead us to the green flag once again at Daytona.
Big push coming from Whitley to Richards. That's going to give him the advantage as they head down towards turn 1. Lyons is going to fall to the bottom.
Yeah, Lucas Lyons getting in there. Wanted that inside lane, started up on the top, but he will move down to 3rd on the bottom, slipping in behind the 56 car of Benjamin Richards and the 77 car of Mark Whitley, who will now cross him up to the top. Lyons will go with Whitley back to the high side. And now Kevin Price is the 2nd car on that inside lane. They were losing spots pretty quickly. Mark Whitley in the 77, your leader right now at Daytona, as Richards tries to build something on that bottom.
He's clear, but I think he's going to want to pay back Lucas Lyons and take him with him. That'll make Ken Huber the front of the top line. We'll have to see as they come across the start-finish line, head down towards turn 1. Here comes a big push from Lyons as they head into the corner.
He's only going to be able to take that 17 car Lyons with him if he's able to get clear, and so far, he's not even able to hold the lead. The momentum floods back to that inside line. Benjamin Richards now with it, and they're going to break up. Not a great push there from the 80 of Kevin Price. pulled out of line as if he had to cool his car, and that is going to allow Lyons and Whitley to get up there, but the two of them are just not clear yet of Richards on the bottom, and with the shorter line around the corner, he'll fight back through turns 3 and 4. Big push being given there by the 80 of Price.
They're side by side through the top 20. Two Lions shuffling around. You can see the 12 of Claire 6. She's down to the bottom. A lot of people like the bottom, but a couple people, like you said, made the top 4 so far. We'll have to see as the race goes on which one's better.
Yeah, right now it looks like you can get some momentum on either line. Typically, the top does tend to be preferred as a bit of a passing line, while the bottom is kind of a standstill line. And Kevin Price pulls out again there. You see him. He's running on that yellow line. He's about a car width lower compared to Benjamin Richards, and that is going to stall that inside lane out completely. Huber, Lyons, Whitley clear 1, 2, 3 on the top, and now Ken Huber will dive into the bottom for the lead here at Daytona, and he might get it. What a move there for the 40 car of Ken Huber to go from third on the outside to leader on the inside. Whitley gets it back as they cross the line, but Huber, your new front car on that inside row.
It's hard to believe that Kevin Price would be overheated and need to ride that wide, but it cost the bottom line dearly. You could see a couple cars got ahead, but now they've started to regroup. The 56 of Benjamin Richards going to push Ken Huber. That's going to prevent Mark Whitley and Lucas Lyons from getting ahead on the top line, but they're going to form up, get side by side with the bottom row and push heavy as they head down into turn 3.
Push is continuing to stay aggressive here. Drivers maybe not as scared as one would think after that big one on lap 1. Everybody wants the position. Everybody wants to be up here fighting at the front of this field. And Ken Huber has that advantageous spot in the lead of this race right now. The 40 car grabs P1, leads his first lap of the race. Benjamin Richards all over the back of him as Lyons and Price try to close up that third lane. Advantage still goes to the inside as Whitley doesn't have any immediate help behind him. Richards stays tight to Huber.
Whitley was all by himself trying to side draft Benjamin Richards, but couldn't get it done. Wanted to maybe fall back in line, but Kevin Price closed up and shut the door. So now here comes Lucas Lyons. They're trying to reform, but a third line coming up the top, led by the 4 car. That's Garrett Kinder, maybe. Hard to tell. I don't think that's the right number on the door.
Whoa!
Oh, there's contact. The 68's in the grass.
That was almost a really big moment. Darren Price is going to take a bit of a detour and mow the lawn while he's at it. But that could have been so much worse. He almost dominoed back up the racetrack into Barrett Morton and Joseph McWhorter. We'll show you this on the replay. Coming out at turn 4, he's taking a push from the 12 car of Claire Sisk behind. Claire maybe just getting a little too much there as the 64 car or 68 car dived down to that inside. Almost got up to the outside, but opted to send it through the grass instead. And a great save by Darren Price to prevent that from being so much worse than it was.
Price did very well there. Great bit of skill to keep us under green. As you see Huber leading them down the back straightaway. There's a slow car in the back. It's Armando Melgoza. We maintain green for now. As Mark Whitley and Lucas Lyons are getting a run on the top line, he's going to inch ahead as they head down into turn 1.
Because Armando Melgoza's got some heavy damage on that 78 car. We might have to take a look back at what caused that damage. Oh, he got the outside wall on the front straight. He took some contact there. It was going to come from the 79 of Christian Angel. Melgoza looked like he just got off the gas, was trying to slow down and let Angel by, but he slowed up so suddenly, Angel didn't know what was going on. Christian Angel hit the back of that car, got him into the outside wall, and Melgoza has some heavy damage on that 78 machine here early.
Well, you can see he's just gone down a lap right there as the field passes him. The top 17 have broken away. The hectic issue earlier with the great save from Price has let the top 17 break away, and now we have 3 distinct packs going across the track.
The top 7 cars on track right now are all drivers who started in the top 8, except for Levi McCarty, who's now going to jump down to the middle and try to make this middle lane go. He started back in 25th, cut Lucas Lyons out to dry there as that third lane forms. McCarty is in that middle trying to push Mark Whitley around. Inside for Ken Huber, still with the advantage in the outside lane, just does not seem to work. The 4-car of Garrett Kinder has tried to get it going multiple times tonight, and it has not worked any time he's tried it. I think he maybe needs more than the 2 or 3 cars he's had up there to get it going. Claire Sisk with a moment. Got into a car on her outside, tagged Colton Sisk, and that car is taking a detour. Now Lucas Lyons is in the wall too. Chaos up here in this lead group.
Mark Whitley's finally found a dance partner. It's Levi McCarty pushing him out to the lead. Benjamin Richards trying to help Ken Huber stay in the lead, but it's 2 by 2 as they head down into 3.
A quarter of the way through this race. Time flies at Daytona, and Ken Huber is continuing to try to hold that inside lane and push it up here to grab the lead away from Mark Whitley, who is continuing the hard charge up there on that high side. Levi McCarty, always a threat to win here no matter what Goat Locker series he's running in. And he is really giving a shot to Mark Whitley. Gets that car a little loose. And we are going to go major side drafting into the corner. I thought there was going to be some contact between those 2 cars. Great job to keep it separated. These drivers are tight, doing everything they can for every last bit of draft. You're seeing that right now.
McCarty really gave it to Whitley coming out at 2. He had to check up a little bit. That cost him some time, but they've caught back up, and you can see the 77 of Mark Whitley trying to keep Ken Huber in check. Puts on the side draft. It's not going to be enough, but here comes McCarty, going to give him a big bump down across the start-finish line. He's going to lead the lap.
And while these cars have been dueling side by side for the last 10 laps since this green flag run, they might get broken up soon. Well, they will get broken up by a caution. And we have a big one in turn 3. It looks like 5 or 6 cars heavily involved. This was right at the back of the lead group. Started with Lucas Lyons and Cody Turner.
It's a 7-car accident at the back of the lead pack. 11th through 17th, all collected in that one. Let's take a look at the V-Speed Instant Replay.
Yeah, Cody Turner is running up here in the middle. Lucas Lyons is all the way on that high side. He'll try to make a 3rd lane work. He is going to run the wall. I'm not sure if Cody Turner maybe just didn't know he was there. Got a little high up the racetrack. Bounced off the wall. Came down and created a big accident there for quite a few cars. Claire Sisk took, looked like 2 or 3 pretty big hits there in that 12. Christian Angel also taking some heavy damage.
Well, the longer these green flag runs continue, the more aggressive they're going to get. They want to jockey for that position, be it as far forward as they can. Take another look here. The little pinball action off the safer barrier. Going to bring your friends down with you.
Whoa. Oh. That's the 45 car down there doing a little bit of aerial tricks. X Games action.
I don't think Noah Hogarth's going to share your enthusiasm with that one, though.
No, that was Cody Turner down there. That car was majorly involved in that accident, and yeah, I mean, you're going to see him, instead of slowing it down and rejoins the racetrack, he decides he's going to use that infield grass as a little bit of a BMX ramp, and yeah, that was a rough hit there for Hogarth.
Well, no harm, no foul. We've got a fast repair all around. Let's hope he still has his. I'm looking at my timing and scoring here. I believe he does.
By the way, Claire Sisk, first driver out of the race, didn't have another fast repair. She's done. That right there is why when the caution is out and you have already been involved in a wreck, you get on the brakes. Because if you don't, you will end up inevitably skidding through the infield and coming back up on the track, especially at a track like this at Daytona where you've got that high banking. A lot of cars are going to come into the pits here in a play to be good on fuel to the end of this thing. We are right on the border of making it to lap 60 on gas, and you're going to see everyone coming in as a result.
Well, it's a skill not a lot of people practice, but getting on and off pit road is definitely a thing that can get you a win here. Let's see if Mark Whitley, he was the first on, and he's going to be the first off.
2 cars elect to stay out. Devontae Drain and Zach Horner will keep it out for those top 2 spots, and everybody else is going to come into the pits. Here's the 80 of Kevin Price. We'll see what happened to him. Oh, a little bit of a close call. He has to pull forwards. He's going to take service. Maybe getting into something on exit here. Well, or not. As Kevin Price's run right there nearly clipped the inside wall. He will come out not as good as where he came in. Kevin Price will come out in P10. So Drain and Horner, your 2 cars who are definitely not good on fuel and have elected to stay out.
Well, they might be thinking long term here. You get a point for leading a lap in each race. So Drain might just be coming around, getting his point, and then he'll head down and get his Sunoco fuel.
Yeah, and if we stay green, I think we're going to see some fuel saving from these cars. If we were to get 1 or 2 more yellows, they'd likely be good, at least till lap 60. But if we get an overtime finish, if we get a long green flag run, I expect to see some fuel saving. I expect to see maybe some more pit stops from these cars who have already come in. Looks like there's a couple more cars coming down, maybe as a top-up. You've got Von Purcell in the pits right now, and then some more drivers who are still in damage-fixing mode. Cody Turner will take an EOL penalty for his role in that accident, as we will get doubled back up this time. And we're getting ready to go back green on lap 21 in this race. While we're under caution, we'd like to thank another one of our partners here at Goat Locker Racing. That is ZAT Graphics. ZAT Graphics is a family-owned, independent business with emphasis on Christian values, honesty, and commitment, located in Brownsburg, Indiana. Their service policy means treating each customer with the individual attention that they deserve. Contact them today at zatgraphics.com. ZAT Graphics, we can put your design on almost anything. Thank you for your continued support and partnership with Goat Locker Racing. As we are side by side, 1/3 of the way through this race, do you think that this strategy is going to work for the cars that stayed out, Corinne?
Well, like I said, I think that they're probably out here to try to get a point for leading the lap. Devontae Drain, one of the 16 cars who have already used a fast repair, just 1/3 of the way through the race. So, he might feel like he's going to, lead this lap and then fall off. And then maybe Zach Horner thinks the same thing after Drain goes down. But we'll have to see. Maybe they're banking on a bunch of more cautions and everybody coming down for fuel. But if they're waiting on for a fresh set of tires or something, I'm not quite sure what the strategy call is here on top of the box.
Yeah, and tires aren't really going to come into play tonight unless you're a driver who's, maybe already at the back of the field. If you pit, you'll still be at the back of the field, and it won't really hurt you to come down and add an extra, I would say, 6 or 7 seconds on that pit stop there, depending on what 4 tires takes over just taking fuel. Drain and Horner might go for it if they come down again, because they will likely be on their own strategy when they do. But I don't think we're going to see Whitley, McCarty, Huber, Libke do anything of the sorts for a 4-tire stop tonight. There were some cars, Garrett Kinder, Barrett Morton, put 4 tires on it, so we'll see if that ultimately gives them a handling advantage over Whitley and McCarty and Huber or not. As we enter the extreme scoring restart zone, Devontae Drain gets a good jump, and we're back green at Daytona.
I think Horner missed a shift. He's 5-6 car lengths behind the guy he started right next to. That's going to allow Mark Whitley straight up to the top.
As everybody's scrambling around right there, trying to find a lane to fit into, Devontae Drain will pull it down to the bottom lane, trying to get a pushback there. Zach Horner taking major shots from McCarty, who's now going to be taking major shots from the 9 of Barrett Morton back there. Here comes Garrett Kinder into this fight as well. Cars joining the back of this field at rapid speed as everyone rubber bands back together after the restart. You've got McWhorter up here now, Chuck Sweeting as well. His main 11-car group, plus, well, the rest of the field is still attached to them, but there's still a little bit of gap between those cars.
The first 4 cars of the higher line, all Goat Locker veterans. You got to think, will they be able to work together a little bit better than the 4 kind of newer people who are on the bottom.
Well, we will see. It's Whitley up there along with Ken Huber, Jamie Libke, and Joseph McWhorter. And like you said, these are drivers who have likely ran one or more Goat Locker race at Daytona this weekend, as we're getting into a little bit of trouble further back in the field. That's Brock Price in the 43 having a moment. Everybody keeps it safe, but this might separate these two packs, as a lot of drivers got on the brakes to avoid a potential accident there.
That's going to break the cars into 2 packs right now. The top 16 all staying together. Maybe with Kevin Price falling off the back, it might just be the top 15. Oh, and there's contact. Oh, and Zach Horner's in the grass.
He's going to try to get it back on the track here, but he has to avoid everybody. Oh, that was close. He's going to keep it out of those cars. Everybody had to dodge right up to the high side to avoid major contact there with Zach Horner in that rejoin. We'll get a replay on what happened to that 52 car to send him down there in the first place. Zach Horner comes off the corner. Does he take a tag from behind? Maybe no. It looked like it was, if anything, he got maybe a little arrow loose trying to push that car in front of him. That was Devontae Drain up there. No, he actually took a side swipe. Zach Horner got into the door of Mark Whitley, and that was what sent him around.
Well, either way, I think you watched one too many Dukes of Hazzards episodes, trying to get back on the track at full speed. As we're back live now, it's still Devontae Drain on the point. He's got Mark Whitley to his outside with Ken Huber pushing him along out in front. Can they do it from the outside?
Whitley loves the side draft on that top lane. He's been sitting up here on the high side for pretty much this entire race so far, and he loves to shove those cars who are running on the inside lane down as far as he possibly can, take away every last drop of side draft that he can manage to keep that car up here jostling for the lead lap after lap. Huber is pushing him as well. That's helping, but I mean, you see Whitley giving those cars on the inside almost no room to breathe.
I think Jamie Libke is sort of slowing down the top line. She's about half a car length off the back of Ken Huber. I wonder if she is currently in fuel save mode.
I would not be surprised. We're going to see a lot of cars back here, I would reckon, in fuel save mode, making sure they're good to the end, or maybe making sure that they're good for another restart if we were to get an overtime finish here. As Libke continues to sit there in third, not accelerating too fast. So I do not think Jamie Libke is anywhere near all the way on the throttle here. She'll put a little more into it down at the end of the straightaway to try and catch up to those cars and keep this lane even. Mark Whitley, I'm sure, would be hoping that he had some more pushing back there. Caution's going to fly further back in the field. Michael Jones, heavy damage.
Not quite sure what happened there in the mid-20s. We'll have to take a look on the V-Speed Instant Replay.
Oh, this started way ahead of Michael Jones. That was a very late addition to this accident. It's going to start with Charles Abert up here and Benjamin Richards. Richards is just going to give the 56 car Richards is going to give the 7 of Abert just a big shot down there into the corner, and you see Richards has to check up, gets loose, Brock Price tags him, and then you see Dooling get involved, and you see Michael Jones just kind of bombard into that one afterwards at about 100 miles an hour, and gives a huge, huge shot to the rear end of Mickey Isaac. You'll see it here. I mean, he's got a lot of space and a lot of knowledge that this is coming, so there you go.
Now, I don't know if he's going to fighter pilot school anytime soon with that reaction time, but that's all right. Get into the pits, get that fast repair, get right back out on track, see if you can do it again. But with the aggressive pushing we've seen here on lap 25, you know, it makes me wonder what we're going to see in the last 5 or 10 laps of this race. It's only going to build.
We're not even halfway through this one yet, and we have seen some aggressive maneuvers from a lot of cars. I would not be surprised if that keeps up. I'm wondering if we're going to see Devontae Drain come into the pits here, because if you pit right now, I would think that you would be good to the end, even if we were to run a long-distance green. So we will keep an eye on what Drain does. Looks like he's coming in. Devontae Drain will make that pit stop from the lead of the race, and he will be the first car I would say, guaranteed to make it on fuel to the end of this race. No fuel saving, no anything. He could probably survive even a green-white checkered with how he is. And because he is one of very few cars coming down, he can afford to take some time, put 4 tires on it, and make sure it's all set up the way he'd like.
Well, he was the only car in the top 15 to come on to pit road this time. Everybody else must think they're going to be good on fuel. Oh, as you see him hit a traffic jam on the way out with the back of the pack. He's going to head out and cycle into about 23rd place. So, well, he led a couple laps. He got his points, and now he's going to try to work his way up knowing he's good on gas.
And we will take this time here under yellow to thank yet another one of our partners at Goat Locker Racing. That is Lincoln Tech. Lincoln Tech is always a very large supporter of Goat Locker Racing. Their mission is to provide superior education and training to their students for in-demand careers in a supportive and accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 30 campuses. Like we said, they are a very large partner of Goat Locker Racing. They have been supporting Goat Locker for years, and we thank Lincoln Tech for everything they do for these drivers.
Pace car working in 3 and 4 right now, coming to 1 to go. For those of you scoring at home, we've got 21 of the 38 starters who have used their fast repairs. Only Claire Sisk is currently out of the race right now. So a lot of strategy. Some people are going to have to play it pretty cautious in these last 30 laps here with no extra fast repair.
No, if you get in a big wreck here and you're one of the, I would say about half the field who's already used your fast repair, you are going to be in bad shape, and you might even end up out of the race here, depending on how it works out for you. Noah Hogard is, I would say, for all intents and purposes, out of the race. He is 11 laps down. He's been in the pits for 14 minutes. That car is probably going to be done for the night. Everybody on the lead lap, still with the exception of Dave Calvert, 1 lap down. He will get the lucky dog at next opportunity. And Armando Melgoza, who sits 2 laps down after an incident during a green flag run. Everybody is back double file. How about Levi McCarty? From 25th to 1st, he's starting 1 spot ahead of Barrett Morton, who's gone from 36th to 3rd. How difficult is that to dice through the field here, Corinne?
Well, it requires lots of skill and, quite honestly, a lot of luck. In a place like Daytona, you got to miss it when, you know, on lap 3, when half the field's in a wreck, you got to be in the half that wasn't. So, you know, Levi makes his own luck. He's a pretty good driver, and obviously you didn't get up here by a fluke, so we'll see what he can do. He was a great pusher for a couple of different cars, but let's see if anybody is going to return the favor to him.
We will see. We'll give you a quick rundown through your field here. Levi McCarty, Mark Whitley, Barrett Morton, Ken Huber, Jamie Libke, your top 5 at the moment. Those are, aside from Morton and McCarty, drivers who started up at the front, but it gets kind of crazy back from there. A lot of drivers who started back in the 20s, 30s, running in good positions. Garrett Kinder sits 6th, Joseph McWhorter 7th, Frederick Seagraves 8th, Chuck Sweeting 9th, Dakota Cole 10th, Judson Curtis, Samuel Yosef, Colton Sisk, Brandon Wallace, and Kevin Price are the rest of the cars who currently make up your top 15. The pace car will pull off, and it'll be Levi McCarty, and it'll be Mark Whitley leading us down to the extreme scoring restart zone. McCarty gets a solid jump on that front row, and we're back green halfway through this race at Daytona. Good jump there for the 18 car. McCarty, Barrett Morton giving him big pushes as everybody gets kind of strung out, single file here through the mid-pack. Some cars not getting going as well as they'd like, and we're going to have to rebuild this outside lane from scratch, as it is everybody back to about Colton Sisk there, currently running in 12th. Single file down on the bottom. Now here comes some cars trying to jump to the top. Judson Curtis is trying to get up there to the high side along with Whitley and McWhorter.
Yeah, Whitley got left out on the restart, but McWhorter finally came to his rescue. See if they can make it work, and somehow a 2-car pack is keeping up with the leader.
Let's see how this one shakes out as McWhorter is going to give a big shot there to the back of Mark Whitley in the 77. It has been Whitley on the lead of that outside lane for what feels like the last 25 laps there. The cars inside of him have come and go. It's been Huber, it's been Drain, it's been McCarty. But Mark Whitley up there on the high side is just that constant presence. And he's had different cars pushing him. Right now it's McWhorter, but all of them have kept Mark Whitley in that battle as the 77 car continues to side draft as he has all race long. We'll cross the halfway point in this race, and it's going to be Whitley and McCarty side by side across that stripe. McCarty leads the lap just barely.
Judson Curtis joining the party on the top line, going to be the 3rd car back. Looks like Frederick Seagraves Jr. in the 59 also going to join the party, dragging Samuel Joseph alongside. And now we're going to have 2 even rows, 8 cars back.
All those cars who were strung out single file have now gotten back up to the field after that restart. And that's how you have those 8, now 9 rows of single file as Colton Sisk and Brandon Wallace catch the end of the field. And these cars are starting to get all over the place. Just because we still have 30 laps to go doesn't mean that these cars aren't going to be aggressive. We've seen all race long, cars are willing to give big pushes, make big moves, and do anything they can to find their way up to the front of the field. And as time runs down, that's only going to become more and more apparent here from Daytona.
The top line's getting its energy back. It's Whitley, McWhorter, and then Judson Curtis. They're trying to make a move and catch back up. Last lap, Levi McCarty ran up to try to kill their momentum, and he was successful. But this time it looks like Mark Whitley's going to be ahead by half a car length going into 3.
Big pushes there on the top, both from Joseph McWhorter, the most direct pusher to Mark Whitley, along with Judson Curtis back there and Frederick Seagraves Jr. Curtis falls off a little bit, and the momentum switches back to that inside line as Barrett Morton and Ken Huber are tied in tight to the leader, Levi McCarty. You've got Jamie Libke back in there as well on the inside. Garrett Kinder running 5th on the bottom. All of those cars staying glued tight as McWhorter is looking a little bit high here on McCarty as on Whitley as Whitley continues to side draft with McCarty. McWhorter wants to run a little bit higher, and you're seeing that disconnect there in those corners. It's really hurting that outside lane.
A little contact about 6 cars back. That's going to break up the top line. Shouldn't matter for McWhorter and Whitley. As you can see, McCarty still inching ahead, coming out of full into the tri-oval. But McWhorter's going to come up with a big push, try to get him even at the start-finish line.
And they will be even back across the start-finish line. But once again, it's Levi McCarty who ends up leading lap 33. He has been able to steal quite a few laps led away from Mark Whitley, who is continuing to push him and hassle him and side draft him for all he's worth up there on that high side. As we're under 30 laps to go here, no real movers happening in the front of the field. It's all about the momentum of these lines. Who can push better, Barrett Morton on the inside or Joseph McWhorter on the outside? That could be what decides this one if we stay green, as Mark Whitley and Levi McCarty do all they can as the lead car in those 2 lines to keep their lane out in front. As we're trying to get 3 wide back here.
Whitley was a little bit late to his side draft, and that's going to allow McCarty to get out a car length ahead. But here comes McWhorter with a big push. You got Lucas Lyons all by himself on the top line trying to catch a draft from anybody. He's all the way back in 12th trying to make something happen. He's basically put Charles Abert in the middle lane all by himself. Abert's going to come up and get in front of him, close that gap off, and maintain 2 cars. But they're going to check up behind, and that's going to cycle Lyons way back.
Lyons might have had a chance as we got moments up front. Barrett Morton comes back on the track, and we're going to have a wreck here. Couple cars around. The 99 of Brandon Wallace will be the one that brings out the caution as he's going to take several hard hits. Colton Sisk is in the air right there.
Unfortunately for Devontae Drain, when he came back up the track, he had nowhere to go, couldn't get checked up in time, and the wreck, the rest of the wreck happened behind him. There were about 10 cars in that one.
Yeah, Barrett Morton just came back up on the road. It was 4 wide. He came back up right into the middle of the 3 wide. You saw Sweeting, Abert dueling up there. Neither of those cars able to do it. Did his car overheat, potentially, from all the pushing he was doing? That might be what caused that, as you see those cars all spiral out of control and crash into each other in the aftermath. Yeah, take another look at that.
You can see from the in-car, yep. Look at the RPMs,
Yeah.
They just die. He's coasting.
In these cars, and really any oval car on iRacing, if you get tucked in behind the car in front of you for too long, it can overheat that engine, and it can eventually lead to the engine expiring, like it did for the 9 car of Barrett Morton there. He was trying to just limp it back to pit road so he could take the fast repair. I'm not sure that ended up working out for the 9 car.
Well, fortunately for him,
He is going to make it to his pit box. He is going to slide into his pit box at 7 miles an hour, take that fast repair, and he's not going to lose the lap.
I don't know. Do you call that strategy at this point? I mean, he's going to end up at the back of the lead lap, but otherwise it worked out pretty well for him, all things considered.
I think he would have rather just probably backed out a couple spots, or even just backed off that car in front of him and held on to his position, and probably would have been second or third on the inside line instead of having to use that fast repair at this stage in the race. As you see, this is Barrett Morton when he was limping down into that pit stall. Barely made it in there.
Tough break for all the collateral damage. You see the cars coming down pit road now. There's about 10 or so cars on pit road, probably trying to top off on fuel if they needed it and get any damage repaired. Everyone should be good on gas now.
Some of the cars down pit road include Lucas Lyons is going to come in, Benjamin Richards, Stephon Davis, Bobby Whitley, Zach Horner, Michael Jones, Chuck Sweeting, Devontae Drain, Kobe Turner, and others all into the pits here on lap 37 out of 60. So we can see these cars continue to trickle off pit road up front. The order is going to remain pretty similar. I'm not sure what happened to the 99 of Brandon Wallace. He seems to have maybe gone around another lap on accident, and it is throwing off the timing and scoring here. As we take a look at your in-car cameras, we got George Jewell, Jamie Libke, Seagraves, Wyatt Dooling, Daniel Parks, and Sam Yosef all on the face cam tonight. As you see George Jewell in full Lightning attire for this one.
Brandon Wallace currently on pit road in his box, so once the timing and scoring settles out from that, he will not be the leader. He will be at the back of the lead lap. Possibly a lap down here as we come around. To go, one to go.
I'm not a big fan of the Lightning right now, as they did beat my Stars about 12-3 over the 2 games that they played earlier this week, but they did get a big win over the Stars, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they are first place in the Eastern Conference right now. It's a good season for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That will make George Jewell very happy. It'll make him even happier if he's able to get to victory lane tonight and grab a victory for himself, as he currently sits in P15. Lights on the pace car will go off. We'll get back double file, and once again, it'll be Levi McCarty down there glued to the bottom. Mark Whitley side drafting on the top, and they'll have the same help. McWhorter, Ken Huber, Judson Curtis, Jamie Libke back there through the top 6.
Well, it's going to be 22 to go when they take the green flag. Well, who do you got a bet on right now?
I would say Mark Whitley tends to find a way to win these races, but I did a whole monologue in the ARCA race on Monday from Daytona about how Mark Whitley always finds a way to win these races, and before I even finished my monologue, he was crashed into the wall. So I don't think I'll pick him tonight for his sake. Let's go Joseph McWhorter.
Joseph McWhorter with some really aggressive pushes, but they've been good ones. Have to see if he can get around somebody. It's going to take some really nice strategy, but he's definitely got the skill set to do it. 22 laps to figure it out.
And this is still anybody's race to win. Even if you're sitting back at about 15th, 20th, 25th right now, you are far from out of it. If you're a car that's trying to recover from an accident and a faster pair use, like maybe Mickey Isaac in the 01 car back in 15th, if you're Daniel Parks back in 19th trying to get up to where you started, he was the pole sitter tonight. We haven't seen a lot of him up front in a little bit. Even if you're Darrell Whitford, Cody Turner back there outside the top 20, you've still got a chance at this one tonight. You could still make something happen for yourself over these last 22 laps. Crazier things can and have happened at Daytona. But the front row is the same as it was for the entire last run. It's Mark Whitley on the high side. It's Levi McCarty on the bottom. And as the base car pulls in and we enter the extreme scoring restart zone, we're green with 22 to go at Daytona. As we get back going here, Levi McCarty down on that bottom lane, being pushed by Joseph McWhorter there in the 72 car. As you've got Ken Huber now trying to get some momentum going at the third car, and now McWhorter jumps up to the high side. He pulls out in front of Mark Whitley. So for the first time in what feels like 20 or so laps now, Mark Whitley is not the car leading your high line. He's going to have to be the pusher instead of the one getting pushed and try to get some speed built up for the 72 of Joseph McWhorter. He's joined there by Jamie Libke on the top line, and then it's quite a big gap back to the next car there. They'll need some help shortly.
Boy, look at the push by Whitley, wheeling McWhorter to the lead.
McWhorter out there in front. Will he pull down to the bottom? The answer is yes. He slides down right in front of Levi McCarty into turn one. And Joseph McWhorter, your new leader, he'll take a big shot from the 18 car, pushing that 72 around. And now Ken Huber will try to get clear for P3 as you've got Judson Curtis, Frederick Seagraves, and Garrett Kinder, the next four cars down there on the bottom line. Whoa, a little bit squirrely up top. Levi McCarty took a big push there from Mark Whitley on the high side, and now we're wrecking behind him. 51 car, major damage for Wyatt Dooling. We are still green here at Daytona, but that is going to massively break up the packs, and your lead group is just 8 cars.
2x2, 4 rows deep. It's McCarty and McWhorter up front. McCarty's got Mark Whitley behind and Jamie Libke behind him. They're trying to make it work, but right now McWhorter is getting a great push. As we're at the V-Speed Instant Replay, let's take a look at what happened. Big bump from the 4.
That was kind of a checkup in front of him there in the 51, the 01. Mickey Isaac in the 01 there. We're ultimately the big victims of that one. Back up front, you see Joseph McWhorter in the 72. Mark Whitley pulls down onto the yellow line. Huge checkup back there, but everybody makes it out all right. Scary moment for all 8 of the cars in that front pack. That could have gone horribly wrong, but Levi McCarty will maintain the lead, and it's now Jamie Libke on the top. McCarty trying to block both lanes, swerving up and down. There's 18 to go at Daytona, but you wouldn't know it by the way they're racing like it's the last lap.
McCarty trying to control both lanes, getting a bumper full of Mark Whitley as they go into 3. Big push. That's going to give him an edge over Jamie Libke, who's trying to organize the top lane. 2x2, 4 rows back. But you got Seagraves and Horner trying to catch up. They're doing quite well for themselves, trying to make it a 10-car pack.
Haven't talked much about Samuel Joseph tonight, but that 35 car currently sits in 4th. Driver second on the outside, pushing Jamie Libke around. Started out back in 18th and is having a great run right now as he tries to grab the first win of the season here in the Invets Grand National Series. Time is starting to run out, and that 35 car has put himself in a position late in this race where he could go get it. And just like all of the cars up here in the top 6 right now, yet to use that faster pair as he's made his way through the field. So even if something were to go horribly wrong for Sam Joseph, he still has that contingency plan.
Look at the concentration that Super Speedway Racing demands. He's in a great position right now, but still can't relax as Mark Whitley's going to jump back up top and take McCarty with him, but now they're going to split up. Going to be a big push for McWhorter to try to keep McCarty out, but Libke and Joseph are going to try to get Mark Whitley back up ahead to better their own position. And that's McCarty by a couple car lengths.
That second pack has merged with the first pack, so it was 8 cars, now it's 13 as Angel, Jewel, it looks like Abert have caught up along with Zach Horner and some of those other cars who were working in pack number 2. And then you see the new pack number 2 back there, currently led by Wesley Burke. They've still got quite a ways to go as, oh, we're going to get some wrecking back in that pack. Barrett Morton through the grass, and we've got a car around for a caution. Colton Sisk with some heavy damage as a result of that one.
Yeah, and these are some cars that have taken their fast repair already, so this is going to end some races, unfortunately.
Well, Colton Sisk was giving a big push to the 09 of Stephon Davis. And it looked like Davis might have just honestly got on the brakes there in the middle of that line. I'm not sure what was going on, but it checked Sisk up. It checked Morton up back there. It checked Daniel Parks up as well, and that kind of sent all those cars sideways. Sisk took a big hit to the wall, collected Kevin Price. Huge shot for Darrell Whitford there in the 20. Darren Price is going to catch just a bit of this as well.
Well, we're under caution on lap 45, so when we restart, we'll have about 13 or 14 to go. What are you looking at here in these last dozen laps or so?
Well, it's going to be a race of survival. I feel like I would not be surprised if we have not seen the end of the cautions tonight. 1 more, 2 more, maybe even breaking into some green-white checkers here. So if you want to grab the win, first you must survive the rest of this race, and it's going to be about 13 or 14 laps to go when we do go back green. So you don't have long to make your way up through the field. I think we're going to see a lot of aggression, but who knows how this will ultimately play out.
I think you're right. I don't think we've seen our last caution. I give a big shout out to our race controllers. They've had a couple of really good no calls, some single car accidents that have left us green and kept the action going on track.
Flagman's getting a workout. Oh, there he goes. He stopped. I was saying it's arm day. He's doing some reps out there.
A lot of takers on pit road. A lot of people with damage. They're still trying to get repaired. Optional damage that'll maybe help your draft. You may not be able to lead a pack, but maybe you can be a pusher.
Yeah, and every point matters. So even if you don't think that you have the speed to actually grab a win here to lead a line, always possible to try to make a late move, to grab a late push, and at least get yourself a good top 3 or 5 finish here. You can survive at Daytona with some optional damage, especially in a draft. I think we've seen quite a few cars do that already.
Well, if you're looking at, the rest of the regular season, it's not the longest season ever. You're only looking at about 10 races. So, not a lot of time to make up, a 35th place finish here at Daytona.
No, you need to have a good run, or else you could very much have some problems coming down to the end of the season, as we are once again under caution tonight on lap 46 out of 60. I would imagine that everybody is good on fuel now, even the cars who we were saying, aren't they good on fuel? We've had enough cautions that I have to imagine everyone is all set to make it to the end of this race. Maybe if we get a green-white checkered or 2, it could still throw a wrench in things, but for these cars up here at the front, like Jamie Libke, like Ken Huber, like Levi McCarty, they're going to be good to the end of the race. They really don't have to worry about fuel at all from here on out.
Well, the only people that I'm really worried about are the people that have been leading all these laps, the McCartys, McWhorters, the Whitleys. They've been out front leading packs all race long, using a lot more fuel than everybody else.
Yeah, we will see how that plays out. They're certainly being helped by all the cautions tonight, that's for sure.
We're coming to 1 to go. McWhorter get it on the outside of McCarty. Everybody forming up here. Again, it's going to be, we're looking at 13 to go. Shootout here to determine us a winner in Daytona.
And it is going to be a battle coming down to the end of this thing. That is for sure. You are going to see these drivers drive like their life depends on it to try to pull out the victory here at Daytona. As it's McWhorter and McCarty up here on the front row. Whitley and Libke will go from row 2. And then back through the rest of your top 20. Ken Huber, Frederick Seagraves, Samuel Joseph, Zach Horner, Judson Curtis, Garrett Kinder, Charles Abert, George Jewell, Wesley Burke, Devontae Drain coming back through the field after that later pit stop. Lucas Lyons, Chuck Sweeting, Michael Jones, Cody Turner, Stephon Davis, and Daniel Parks, your pole sitter, currently sits in 20th. Still 32 cars on your lead lap. Only Armando Melgoza, Colton Sisk, and Daryl Whitford are 2 laps down. Then you've got Wyatt Dooling 4 laps down. And your DNFs tonight, Noah Hogard and Claire Sisk, both out of the race early. They are done for this one. So Levi McCarty, 25th to 1st. He's gone through the whole field, and he spent the last 10 laps hanging on to this front position. Can he go 13 laps more up front and grab the win here to kick off the Invets Grand National Series in GOAT Locker Racing? McCarty and McWhorter will be your front row. Whitley and Libke will be the pushers. And as the pace car comes in, we'll hit the extreme scoring restart zone. McCarty jumps late, and we're green at Daytona. Good side-by-side start there, but Levi McCarty has the advantage over Mark Whitley, Joseph McWhorter, and now Ken Huber up into 4th as he continues to push as the 3rd car down there on the inside line. Whitley jumps up to the top. There is nowhere he would rather be but first on the high side, and he's got that spot back. Being pushed by Joseph McWhorter in the 72. Mark Whitley back out to the lead. He could have pulled down there, but he likes to be on that high line. He likes the side drafting opportunities that it affords him. And as we take 12 to go, Whitley will get past, but he'll continue to run the high side.
As the laps wind down, as the drama ratchets up, I'm looking at who is going to be there when the pushes get too violent here in the closing laps. Look for somebody from the back of the top 5, back of the top 10, who can be there when everybody else wrecks each other. Oh, and they're in the wall in turn 2.
Will we keep it green here? It's looking like the answer is yes. That could have been a big moment. And what that will do is take a lot of cars out of contention for the win, out of the draft, but it will keep them in this race. As we'll get a quick replay on what happened back there that set so many of those cars back in the first place. It's going to start pretty far up in this lead group here. You've got Judson Curtis, you got Michael Jones, and it all just kind of checks up behind him. Ends up in that 4 car of Garrett Kinder around, takes a big hit to the outside wall along with Horner and Drain, but everybody keeps it straight, although some cars have more damage than others. Mark Whitley back to your race lead as he continues to run on that high side, and he continues to be pushed by Joseph McWhorter.
Ken Huber been playing it safe the last lap and a half. He's going to come up and give Levi McCarty a nice tap to try to catch him up to Mark Whitley and Joseph McWhorter on the outside.
Are we finally going to get some 3 wide? Yeah, are we finally going to get that going here with Lucas Lyons there in the middle? Samuel Joseph tries to work high, but he ends up bouncing it off the outside wall, has to give up and drop back down. As Lucas Lyons leaves the middle, finds a hole in the inside lane, and he takes it down there. This front group, not a lot of drivers in it. It's down to only about 13 cars, 14 cars right now. From your leader, Levi McCarty, back to 14th place, Stephon Davis on the ticker. Daniel Parks is catching this line as well, as everybody else behind him is more than 5 seconds back. As McCarty and Whitley continue to go at it, that 77 car is not giving up the side draft, and you're seeing it right now.
Levi McCarty went up and gave him a piece of his own medicine to try to slow down the Whitley McWhorter train. Now they work it through 3 and 4. Whitley's going to come down and do what he's done all race. He's going to get a tap, and that's going to send him up, slow him down a little bit. McWhorter keeps him aligned. They come around through the tri-oval once again with 9 laps to go.
Well, I don't know if Levi McCarty is too happy about the way that Mark Whitley is racing him, because that was a pretty big shove up into the corner. McCarty pretty much ended up in charge of the outside line there for a moment before he dropped it back down. Whitley, though, is just going to continue to force that 18 car down the racetrack and take away all the air he can as he continues to lead this outside line. Time running down. Ken Huber a little loose there in P3, and that'll slow up the inside lane. How quickly can they get reorganized to give Levi McCarty another chance?
Big push from Seagraves as they were going down the back straightaway. Here comes McCarty to the inside. Whitley now on top of McWhorter. Coming around, McWhorter looks to the outside, but he's going to give a push to Whitley anyway. Whitley's going to lead the lap. 8 to go.
Finally starting to lead some laps there on the top side. Oh, there goes Whitley. Contact with McCarty, and he is going to take a big detour into turn 1. It was contact on an awkward push from McWhorter that sent McCarty all the way down and out and back to the second group. You'll see a replay here. It's just a big shot from McWhorter. Gets that 74 car of Whitley loose. And there goes Levi McCarty. He's out of contention to win. Ken Huber, now your race leader, as the caution flies. Oh, I think we just had a car flip over. Almost. Kevin Price caught some major air, but he kept it on all 4 wheels.
Half a dozen cars parked on the back straightaway right now. Have to go back and take a look at what happened.
This is kind of a chain reaction accident happening in the second pack. You've got Benjamin Richards. You've got Brock Price here. Price is going to get into Richards, turn him into Kevin Price. That's going to collect Zach Horner. Somehow that wreck just kept going forwards on the racetrack. You saw that 80 car of Kevin Price get up on his side there.
Most of those cars already taking their fast repairs. I think that's going to end the evening for a few, but we'll have to take a look and see where they rack and stack after the caution. Pit road's going to be open this time. A lot of people in the back going to fix some damage.
And we are going to see some pit stops from those cars. No pit stops from anyone out in front. I think it's going to be a little too late for that, as we will not go to overtime here. This isn't going to take us to an overtime, but it will take us to a natural 4-ish, 5-ish lap to go finish. And if we get a caution on that restart, then we will see overtime. And then we might have some fuel questions resurface.
Going to be a 5-lap shootout to determine a winner at Daytona for the opening of the spring season, the Goat Locker Racing. This race has delivered a couple cautions, but the action up front has been tremendous. A lot of skill in these pushes tonight.
Yeah, it has. We're going to get a little bit of an in-race interview here with your current race leader, Ken Huber. Ken, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
This Sky up here in the broadcast booth. You've led 6 laps tonight, but you're up here when it counts. What's your plan to try to grab this victory?
Oh man, I just want to keep it safe. I hope everybody just keeps it safe. But cars are dancing around. You know, being up front in clean air is really nice. I got Seagraves behind me, so if he can push me, and maybe we can keep ahead of those 2 boys, Whitley and McWhorter. But you know, it's Daytona; anything could happen. But I'm just hoping for a clean finish.
Yeah, you've been a pusher in these first couple lines for a lot of the race now, but it's kind of a role reversal, seeing you up here being the one who needs to get the push. How do you plan to approach that situation, being different to what you've been in all race?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. Just try to not jump the field, but you know, I got Whitley on the outside, so those 2 guys are strong, so I can't. I need Seagraves to really just pick up the slack and really push on the restart here.
You're going to have to hold strong over Whitley. He's been side drafting hard all race. When it gets down to the last lap and it's all on the line for you, Ken, what are you going to do to win this one?
Oh, I'm not going to do anything crazy, man. I just want a clean finish, but I would sure like to get a win. But like I said, it's still Daytona. Anything could happen. I just hope these guys, you know, I've been racing around Whitley all night long and McWhorter. and both those guys have raced me really clean, so hopefully that continues.
All right, thanks so much for your time, Ken. With any luck, we'll see you back up in here in about 15 minutes. That was Ken Huber, your current race leader, up here in the booth. And while we've got a little bit of time under caution, I want to thank our title sponsor for this series, Invets. Invets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They are obviously the title sponsor of the Invets Grand National Series, and they have been around Goat Locker Racing for a very long time. So we thank Invets for all they do for the Goat Locker Racing community. We are going to go green with 4 to go at Daytona. Corinne, how is this going to be?
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to be. We got Ken Huber, my ex-booth mate, on the point. He is going to get some hellacious pushes from Frederick Seagraves Jr. and Lucas Lyons, both very aggressive pushers, even in the first 10 laps of a race. And hopefully Ken can hold on to that wheel and take this hot rod to victory lane.
We will see. You used a big word there. I didn't even know what that one meant, but we'll go with it for Ken Huber, as Mark Whitley will be the one on the outside line. Frederick Seagraves, Joseph McWhorter behind him. Is that hellacious? Is that my SEC lack of education showing?
Well, you know, I graduated high school with a very low GPA, so, you know, I'm going to buy you a word of the day calendar and you'll be all right, I think.
There we go.
But as we look at the top line, you know, Whitley has been very good, but they haven't gotten the run until after the start-finish line, so McWhorter's going to have to push really hard to get Whitley out front before the finish line. However, they do have the advantage of Jamie Lipke, who's been pretty conservative all night, but with 4 laps to go, this is all out the window now.
I was going to say, we're number 1 in football. We might not be number 1 in education, unfortunately. Ken Huber, still number 1 on the racetrack in that 40 car, and he is going to have 4 laps to try and get the first win of the season here in the Invets Grand National Series and make a big play towards the playoffs at the end of the year. Mark Whitley, who has been running up in that high line for basically this entire race, there's nowhere else he'd rather be but up there is the lead car on the high side, and he's in that position when he wants to be there the most. Frederick Seagraves Jr. Haven't seen too much of him in the first few rows, but when the time is right, he's pulled himself into that position, and now he'll get to go from P3. Joseph McWhorter, Jamie Lipke, Lucas Lyons, all on the line as we hit the extreme scoring restart zone, and Ken Huber leads us to the green flag.
Oh, we haven't seen a restart from Ken Huber all night, but he is way ahead. He's 2 car lengths ahead of Mark Whitley, first car on the top line.
Big pushes coming there from Joseph McWhorter on the high side, trying to get Mark Whitley the run he needs. Lucas Lyons is behind it as well, and there's a big gap back behind him. You've got Lipke there on the high side, but Aber, Joseph, Curtis, they're all going to have to close in with 4 to go. Any little variation in the draft here can prove to be major, as Mark Whitley and Joseph McWhorter have the 2-car advantage over Ken Huber. Neither of them drop down, and as the 40 has the shorter line through turns 3 and 4, he'll come right back to the door of Mark Whitley.
McWhorter was clear on the bottom, but didn't make the move they could have to close the door, but it's going to allow Ken Huber to come across and lead this lap. 3 laps to go.
Cars moving and shaking all throughout the field. It's Huber up front. Seagraves is going to try to jump to the top, but he doesn't quite commit. Mark Whitley puts himself in the wall up there. Contact with McWhorter. Cars jostling around, but Whitley keeps it out of any danger. He'll lose his spot in the top 7. He'll go all the way back to P8. Now we're dooring each other. Aber, big slide. He'll hit the inside wall. No caution comes. We're 3 wide. It's Huber and Seagraves leading the 2 lines. Lyons trying to get something going on the top with Lipke, but he doesn't have the help just yet. And it is Ken Huber, after all of that, still your race leader on the bottom. He's being pushed by Curtis. 2 to go here for Ken Huber as he continues to hold that inside line. Seagraves now up there on the top. McWhorter giving a push to that car, and as they enter turns 1 and 2, Seagraves is the one with the advantage over Huber on the bottom. As some cars hit the wall further back, we're going to stay green, no yellows, and it's 2 to go for Ken Huber down the back straightaway.
When McWhorter's made a move to the outside, it's going to shuffle Seagraves into the middle, hung out to dry. Mark Whitley going to force this top line to success, and there's cars, there's parks on the apron as they head into 3 and 4, coming to the white flag.
I am genuinely not sure how there was not a wreck there. That was a big moment. It's still a big moment. Mark Whitley into the fence once again. We're still green. Will we make it to the white flag? We're 4 wide, and we will. Here comes Frederick Seagraves. He's going to get turned just past the white. Big accident, everyone involved, and Wesley Burke in the 04 is the lone survivor at the front of this field. Michael Jones comes with him. Mark Whitley in third as everybody crashed as they took the glove station white flag there. Here we go. Mark Whitley tries to mount a charge. He blocks Lyons. Lyons goes low. He looks under Michael Jones. He turns Michael Jones. Who's going to get it? Mark Whitley on the outside will drop down to the bottom. He's chasing Wesley Burke around the racetrack. Wesley Burke from out of nowhere. Can he hold on? Whitley makes contact. Gets him loose. We're 3 wide. Here comes Lucas Lyons. Pushed by McWhorter. Photo finish. Give it to Lucas Lyons.
It's at the line. Holy cow. Who's left from the top 10 when we took the white flag? Oh, give Mark Whitley all the credit in the world. He got forced up into the wall, recovered enough to come up and take what looked like 4th, but it's Lucas Lyons who survives to win this race.
In case you were wondering, Lucas Lyons was 11th at the white flag. Anything can happen. You see that big wreck back there? We took the white flag, and then immediately it all went wrong for all of those cars up there in the lead group, and you see that wrecked everybody. And Wesley Burke was the one car who got away cleanly, was just kind of silently running up in that top 10. We hadn't heard much of him all race, but he got away and ultimately got caught there right at the end by a great move from Lucas Lyons on the top. Here's one more look at the accident.
Wesley Burke's saying, thank you very much, I'll take this lead, but it's going to be Lucas Lyons who finds his way up somehow to win this race.
11th place at the line to first. Look at this. Sneaks his way through there on the top, still ends up 5th and just has to run them all down. What a move there for Lucas Lyons. And you'll see Wesley Burke got clear up in front there, and he was the car that we were watching because, I mean, we really hadn't heard too much of Wesley Burke this race. Dodged that wreck, got in a great position. You see everyone start to move back and forth. Lyons takes a big send to the inside, tries the bottom, turns Michael Jones, who was running in P2 at the time. Mark Whitley came down the block. He had that 36 car up there, George Jewell, working on the high side. Lyons decided as he came down onto the front straightaway, he'd work up to the high side. Burt got some contact at just the right moment, and it was just enough to get Lyons through for the win. Wesley Burke 2nd, McWhorter 3rd, Whitley 4th, George Jewell 5th across the line there. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have results and interviews. Stay tuned.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. Invets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. Invets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about Invets, visit us at invets.org today.
We are back here after a wild finish in the first race of the Invets Grand National Series at Daytona. And we'll take a quick look at your finishing results. Your race leader at the end of this one, the 17 of Lucas Lyons, grabs the first win of the season. Wesley Burke, P2. Joseph McWhorter brings it home third. Whitley fourth. George Jewell in fifth. The rest of your top 10 is Barrett Morton, Benjamin Richards, Chuck Sweeting, Devontae Drain, and Levi McCarty.
Turner, Lipke, Purcell, Curtis, and Joseph round out your top 15. Chuck Abert at 16th, Frederick Seagraves 17th, Ken Huber all the way back to 18th on the last lap. Brock Price 19th, and Angel 20th.
And back from there, we've got Mickey Isaac in 21st, Garrett Kinder 22nd, Darren Price 23rd, Stephon Davis, last car on the lead lap in the 09. Back from there, you've got Michael Jones, Daniel Parks, Dave Calvert, Armando Melgosa, Kevin Price, and Bobby Whitley.
That corner brought it home at 31st tonight. Dakota Cole 32nd. Brandon Wallace 33rd. Colton Sisk 34th. 35th was Darrell Whitford, Wyatt Dooling, Noah Hogard, Claire Sisk, and round out your top 38.
And that'll be your finishing order for tonight's race. And we are going to go straight to our race winner. We'll pull into the booth Lucas Lyons. How you doing?
A lot better after that race.
You led one lap, but it was the most important one. How's it feel?
Honestly, it's not exactly how I wanted to do this race. I wanted to kind of run up front. I don't know what happened earlier with Jamie. I thought I lifted before I got to her rear bumper, and clearly I didn't. But it's the last lap, so I had to make aggressive moves. Got to the inside of Jones, I think it was, and he just kept pinching me down and spun across my nose. And luckily, I had Joseph behind me, and he pushed me across the start finish line at first.
What was going through your head when you took the white flag in 11th and then immediately saw all that happen in front of you?
I was like, "Hey, I have a chance. Like this is pretty good, you know." And then going into turn one, I saw I was in like fifth, and then there were slower cars in front of me. I'm like, "Hey, this is going a lot better." And then coming out of turn four, I saw something happened in front of me. I don't know exactly what happened, but I had to run. I'm like, "Hey, this might actually be pretty great." And so I got first, and I'm pretty ecstatic.
A good win to kick off the season here. Does it feel a little better knowing that, I mean, this is pretty much the best possible way you can start a season?
Yeah, it definitely is. Being the first race I've actually won, being a dad, it kind of means a little bit more. He was born December 7th, which made me miss broadcasting the last few races, but family's a little bit more important and stuff like this. I'm glad to have some time to be able to sim race.
All right. Who do you have to thank tonight?
I want to thank my son. I want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Invets, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and above the yellow line, Coalfield Asphalt Refinishing, Greg Biffle for being such a good race car driver, and V Speed and everybody at Bandits. We definitely put on a clinic here at Daytona.
All right. Congrats on the win tonight, Lucas Lyons.
Thank you.
And we will send it over to Corinne Smith, who is going to be standing by with our second place finisher, Wesley Burke.
Thank you, Sky. I'm here with Wesley Burke, tonight's second place finisher. Wesley, well, take us through that last lap and a half.
Wow, that was something. I saw them dooring each other up there, and then they started wrecking. I dove it to the inside, barely missed the exit cone, so I almost got a black flag there. And then came back on track, tried to break the draft with who was it? The O2, I think it was. And then I saw Mark coming around the outside, so I went back to give the O2 draft because I didn't want Mark behind me. And yeah, Mark got behind me. I tried to throw a block, almost cleared myself, came back up and was like, "Oh, I got it." And then Lucas comes out of nowhere up top and takes it. So,
Well, you were only about 400ths of a second short tonight, but you had a good
who?
points night, finishing second. Is there anything you could have done differently?
Mm, not that I think, because if I don't block there, Whitley wins. So, felt like I had to block there. So, don't think I did anything wrong.
All right. Well, who do you have to thank for getting you on the second step of the podium tonight?
Um, Jam Printing and Promotions, Invets for being the title sponsor of the series, V Speed, Alexander PCs, Cruising Classics, and GTR Simulators.
All right. Well, the seas parted on the last lap for Wesley Burke. Wesley brings it home second. Back to you, Sky.
All right, we're going to now bring in our third place finisher to the booth, Joseph McWhorter in the 72. Joseph, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. That was a hectic finish there, but you still managed to bring it home with a good finish. Talk me through it.
Yeah, it was it was very hectic there. That was pretty crazy. We were working together with Mark there, and I don't remember what happened that got everything all jumbled up and got Mark out of line. And I think it was like the 59 tried to block him, tried to block the middle or the high lane, and Mark got into the wall. I went to the middle to try and miss him because I couldn't slow down in time. And then followed with the 59. Mark got back to me. We were going to try and shoot the middle, um, but it looked like the 59 was starting to get loose every time that we were coming off the corner. And so I said to go ahead and go to the high side. So we moved to the high side to try and get a run. And then I mean all chaos just broke out coming to the white. I mean we had Mark was giving me a push. Mark pushed me. It got him into the wall somehow whenever he pushed me. So I went to help the subway car in front of me. Well, Judson comes up, bumps him, or starts squeezing him into the wall, which slowed him down into me, which gave him a bad bump. And at that point, I just didn't lift. And then I was able to get back into the draft there, chase that little pack of five cars back down. And then when Mark and Wesley Burke got into each other, Mark was a little bit sideways, so I couldn't really give him a bump. And I jumped up. I was like, I'm just gonna hit whoever's the straightest car at the time. And I didn't think Mark was the right choice, even though he's my teammate. But I didn't want to, spin him and wreck Wesley and just take all of us out. So I just went up there and it helped Lucas since he was the one with the momentum going forward. So good P3, good start to the season. Right, right where we left off, and would have been nice to get that win, but we just had to play recover from the start of the race when we got plowed into a wreck. So we've just been on damage control since then, and we put ourselves in a good spot to try and have a win. We just needed more time.
You got Vegas coming up next week. I know you're always good at those mile and a half tracks. So you're looking forward to trying to grab your first win of the season there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember if I won that racetrack or not last season, but I think we ran really good there, and yeah, we've had really good success there in the past. So I think I'm hoping to go out there and just go ahead and just notch our, go ahead and get a win, notch our ticket to the playoffs, and then, really just try and get as many points going for the playoffs as possible, score as many points as we can throughout the regular season, and put ourselves in a good spot for elimination. So, just business as usual. Work on limiting mistakes going forward. A couple of things that we need to work on in general from last season. Just keep doing what we're doing. I think we'll have a good shot at being in that final four again.
All right, who do you have to thank tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Outlier Speed Co. Amazing partner of mine. They make amazing setups. Go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. Johnny and the boys have been building some really good stuff. A, B, C, Cup, Xfinity, or O'Reilly's now, and truck. They've even got road course stuff. So anything that you guys are looking for, go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. RedCamelRacing.com. Check them out. Fire suit, shoes, helmets, you name it. They've got it for anything that you need for a race weekend. So go check them out at RedCamelRacing.com. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Love V Speed. Glad you guys are back for another season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. I can't wait to go back and watch that. All the admins for the hard work and all the drivers for a really good race. I think it's going to be a really good season.
All right, congrats on P3 tonight, Joseph McWhorter.
Thanks, brother.
And that'll be the end of our coverage here tonight from Daytona. Corinne, any final thoughts on that?
Well, we wanted Daytona and we got Daytona. It was quite a race. You know, like we said at the top of the show, 40 drivers who are still kind of getting to know each other here. We'll have to see what it looks like in Las Vegas.
Next week, we will go to Las Vegas, and we are sure to have a great race at a track that always puts on a good show here in Goat Locker. For myself, Corinne, and Eddie up here in the booth with me, and for everyone at both V-Speed and Goat Locker Racing, make sure you join us at the same time next week, and have a good night.